of we call data collectors here, and they can be all sorts of organizations. You know, they can be businesses that we interact with every day. They can be in the area of medical. They can be our doctors or our pharmacies. We get into government collects data, and a whole variety of folks who, as part of our daily lives, we provide information to. It can be direct, say, through an application for a credit card, or it can be indirect through say, making a cell phone call. This information then is used to provide services to us. We then move out one level to an area that's a lot of consumers are really not familiar with, to the data broker level, where we have folks who collect data from a variety of businesses and government sources, put it together, aggregate it for the purpose of selling it. And this is an area that that a lot of consumers are only vaguely aware of. And then we go out to the outer circle of the chart here, and we see all the different, we see some of the different uses, the users of this data who buy the aggregate data. You know, one example is marketers or banks or so on, who use all the different informations collected through the data broker services. Then coming back to the consumer, there's a variety of services that happen from the data users and through this aggregation data. And it can be the extension of credit, it can be advertising, it can be a whole host of things that the data users then bring back to the consumer. And in some cases, the consumer is aware of these services. In other cases, they're not particularly aware of. And the one thing that's important here is that we have, you know, both a primary user of data and secondary uses of the data. You know, for example, if I buy a house and pay property taxes, a lot of people don't realize that information about my house is then used to characterize me for marketing purposes. It's a secondary use. What we're going to look at also then today is some specific examples of the use of data in everyday transactions here. This is one that's personally applicable to me. Is over the last 3 or 4 years, I've had to, like a lot of folks, had to start taking pills to regulate various health issues. And so one of the things that I have to do is get my prescriptions filled at the local pharmacy. And here we have a part of this data ecosystem, how information is used to perform that service, some of which are I'm very aware of, and other ones that I'm less aware of. But the basic economic transaction begins with the doctor providing me with a prescription. I then take it to my pharmacy, where information is entered into a computer about myself as well as about my prescriptions. Now, one thing that's important is if you get pills on a regular basis, you get one prescription that renews for up to, say, a year. And it's up to the pharmacy and their computer systems to keep track of those refills. And so one of the benefits then I get as a consumer is I don't have to go back to the doctor for every prescription. So when the pharmacy fills a prescription, they enter the data into their computer systems. And one thing they do, a new service that the pharmacy is providing now, is they will call me on the phone when it's time for me to refill a prescription. It's one use of data. Now, that's a marketing program as far as the pharmacy goes, but from my perspective, that's a convenience. Now, there's other places that data flow too out of the pharmacy. One is if you know, paying for my pills through the health insurance company is going to learn about it. But then also there's a whole other hidden behind the curtain activity where various prescriptions go to a pharmaceutical analytics company that analyzes all the different prescriptions that people are buying for a variety of purposes. One can be disease tracking. Another one can be for information for media. Another area that's been relatively controversial is in the area of marketing to doctors. That these aggregate statistics that are generated by analytics, some of these statistics are done specific to the doctor. And the information is then sold to pharmaceutical companies and also used by pharmacies to market back to doctors. And this has been an area that's been controversial. Some legislation has been done against. But the idea is that the pharmaceutical companies base their marketing to a specific doctor based on all the different prescriptions they've been developing. Another area that's been interesting, that's driven clearly by technology, particularly with high-speed internet connections, and something that we're hearing a lot about is social networking websites. These are sites like Facebook and MySpace or LinkedIn, which provide a way for people, friends and colleagues and even strangers and whatever, to communicate. Basically provide a community where people can discuss in a semi-private area, a variety of topics. And the basic idea behind a social networking website is you register with the website, so it's a voluntary activity, and you get an account, and from that standpoint, from there you say to that website who your friends are, and so you get connected up to them, and that creates an area where everybody can communicate in. Some of the information that you provide as part of that social networking, however, is made public, and it can be viewed by anyone. If you, for example, Google people, sometimes some of the first things you see will be profiles at places like Facebook and LinkedIn. But then also there's other parts of the information that is only available to people that you trust, friends and people who you agreed to be connected up to. But a whole other aspect that's going on behind the curtain in the social networking sites is the use of information that you provide as part of your profile, as well as part of your discussions with friends, is the advertising aspect of things. So that you're being targeted with advertising as you're using the site based on all the information that's available in either in the profile or the forums. And another area that becomes very interesting is many of these websites support features what are known as third-party applications, where the websites allow other parties, other software developers, to come in and provide content and games and applications that run within the context of the social networking website. And these applications, in many cases, are supported by advertising. And what folks are using these websites in many cases don't realize is these applications also have access to some amount of the personal data that's being collected by the website. And again, that's going off and being used for advertising purposes and potentially other uses that are not clear. The last area that I want to look at here this morning here on the collection of data, and I think it's a very important one, something that's become much more important over the last, say, 3 or 4 years, is mobile phones, or smartphones in particular. A smartphone is basically a computer that's portable and that just happens to have a cell phone attached to it. But the key thing about that computer is that it can communicate through the internet through wireless connection. So we're able to collect data or observe data with that device at any place, at any time. And so a key feature of these new smartphones is the ability to locate themselves, that is, find out where they are on a map at any point in time. And they use a variety of technologies to do that, including GPS, Wi-Fi, and cell towers. And so you have a very powerful combination there for doing data collection. You have a smart device that can run applications, arbitrary applications. You have a communication network which allows it to phone home, and you have something that provides location. And so we have companies out there now developing a whole interesting host of applications using these technologies. And it's sort of the next level of data collection, if you will. On the chart here, we show a couple different applications using smartphones. One is a mobile coupons application. The idea that as you're walking around, you can run this application and it can provide coupons for businesses in the area that you're currently at. And so the idea is you download the application to the cell phone, and you at the same time provide personal information to the vendor who's providing coupons, and the application runs, and then as you execute it, it will provide you with a variety of coupons, and you can do things like say here's the kinds of coupons I'm interested in, like, excuse me, I still have 30 seconds. In spite of that. The idea is that you say what kind of coupons you like, whether it's restaurants, bars, and so on, and then based on your location and the types of coupons that are available to the coupon provider, they're sent to your phone. Another more interesting application, one that seems to be targeted at the younger crowd, I'm not sure I'd want this one, but is the mobile friend locator. It provides a sort of the next level of the ability to watch us as we go around our lives. The idea is you sign up with this service, again, download an application,